We're back now with Overtime with the former Flint mayor, and we have Zoe with a question, eh?
So we've been talking a lot about the gubernatorial race. Who's your candidate in the U.S. Senate race?
In the U.S. Senate race, I'm Mallory McMorrow.
Say more.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because now that's one where I heard everybody, and she was the last person that I actually went to hear. I'd gone to hear Haley Stevens, and I already knew Abdul, and from when I was in office. So I went and listened to both of them though, and then I got a call from the McMorrow. No. Yeah, I did. I got a call, but I didn't respond to the call because I'm still I don't know that number, so I didn't answer. And then I got a text, and they wanted to know if this was my contact. So I said yes, and they said that she'd like to have a conversation with me. So we set that up. But she was coming to Flint the next day. It was really funny, and I said, well, I might go, but I'm not going to commit to anything. And I didn't tell them I was coming, but I wanted to hear her. And so I had a friend of mine who used to be my chief recovery officer, Jamaica Patrick. We went and I said, we're not going to sit down. We're going to stand by the door because we're going to stay about 30 minutes. And as she talked and I listened to what she was saying, we ended up staying in its entirety. And I remember she said to me, the more she talks, the more I like her. And I said, yeah, I did. I said, I'd like to hear her again. So I went to Detroit to hear her because I wanted to go to a different environment, different people, and see what is the message and how is she received. So I went to Detroit and I said, and then we met and talked.
So what was the message that grabbed you?
What I liked was, there were a few things that I liked because she seemed genuine, and we need some people that are genuine, that want to get in there and do the right thing, and that was what I got from her. I liked her message around, we talked about economic development and some things that needed to happen. We were and as we continued to talk, I just saw not only a genuineness, I saw someone that wasn't scared. And we need some people in there that are not scared to go in and speak up and speak out, because sometimes you have to stand alone. But she didn't, she had that kind of tenacity and that grit, kind of like how we describe Flintstones. You all, and what you all might say about people from Detroit. I saw that grit in her, and I really liked that. But also was the follow through. Everything that she has said she is going to do as far as working with us in Flint, they've done it. And that's important when someone does what they say they're going to do, because that's how you know if they're going to get in there, or at least it's an indication of, when you see them crossing all of their T's and dotting their I's like they say. That's a pattern, and that's what you expect to see when they get there. And I appreciate somebody that does what they say they're going to do. And I like how she has been very inclusive. I've come down here to Lansing to hear her and watched her interact with the people. And I also like that she takes questions from the audience. It's not a scripted thing. It's like, you have a question, let's hear it. And she wasn't scared to address the crowd. And they seem to really embrace her. And people that I have invited, in fact, I'll be down here again next week hosting an event for her. And so the people that I have invited and that have heard her, she has really, captured them. And they've said, I like what she's talking about. And she's doing rather well, I have to say.
Are you a delegate at the convention this weekend?
I will be there.
Okay. Who are you supporting for Attorney General and Secretary of State?
For Secretary of State, I am supporting Garland Gilchrist. For Attorney General, that's a very good one.
Coin flip still?
Yeah. Yeah, because you know what, it's funny because I know it's Karen McDonald that is running, but I've been hearing more about Eli Savage. And it's like, and as I was listening to you all talk earlier when you were saying this could be a dogfight, it could, because every day there's been more and more from him, and so I'm paying attention. And so I'm looking forward to being at this convention because I want to be up close and personal and hear what they're going to do. And I'm hoping it's going to be, I think this will be an exciting one because I've been to these conventions before where we're Democrats, yay, they're Republicans, boo. But tell me why I'm giving you my vote, because I expect something in return for it. And so I'm looking forward to hearing what he's saying.
On Secretary of State, we've heard a lot about experience. I mean, Barb Byram has been running elections in Ingham County for a dozen years.
Okay.
And Susanna Shkreli and Garland Gilchrist have never run an election. I mean, Why pick Gilchrist over Byram here?
You know what? I have confidence in him. You know, I think that he can do the job, and he's got a record as well. He's got a record as well, and so I think he deserves this opportunity. Now, do you think I could go to the conference and hear something and say, "Oh, not voting that way"? But no, I do. I respect him, and I want to see him do this, and I want to see him do well at this, because that's going to be a position to have with the next elections that will be coming up after that. So you better have some tough skin, that's for sure.
I'm curious, you know, since you're supporting the Duggan Independent campaign, at the same time you still consider yourself a Democrat, you're a delegate at this convention this weekend. I'm wondering, when you look at statewide candidates and you're saying you want to see it more than just, you know, I'm a Democrat, vote for me, I'm a Republican, don't vote for them. What characteristics do you think it's going to take for Democratic candidates to win a statewide election, and what do you think the moment calls for right now?
I think the moment calls for some truth and honesty and transparency. Tell me what you're going to do. You know, even when I hosted a meet and greet for Doug, and one of the things I said is, he's here. You know, everybody that was there, I don't know if they were going to support him or not. I was hoping that they would, and I wanted them to hear his message. But when somebody's asking you for your vote, you ask them, what do I get if I give you my vote? And that's what I want to hear, and that's what people want to hear. They want to hear a message of hope. People want some unity. You know, I mean, because we can't do anything all splintered like this. And so people want hope, people want unity, people want some honesty, and they want to know that they're putting people in office that are going to have their voice and have their back. And that's what I think. And they want some excitement and some energy. We can't keep doing business as usual. I've been to some, and I remember looking around and I'm like, I'm bored. And so I'm looking, I'm like, so young people have to be bored, because I'm bored. And we shouldn't be at those kinds of conventions and be bored. We should be energized, we should be excited, we should have, there should be a call to action, and we say yes, because you were talking earlier about how do we get people out to vote, and the ages that go out. And I think if we don't get some young people to the vote, because this is about them, and this is about their future, and this is about their parents and their grandparents and their children. And so I think we need to really, you know, hone in on that. And we can't, like I said, we can't do business as usual if we want to get people excited and energized and out to those polls to vote, because that's the only way we're going to do it.
Do you think Democrats are currently doing that in Michigan with a positive message and exciting message?
You know, it's been a little bit more exciting because and it's interesting because things are, like we talked, or you all talked about earlier as I was listening, I mean, things are so close for some of them. And so I think that's exciting. It's exciting to me. And so when I go out and talk to people, I think you need people that are out there that can get people excited as well and tell them why this matters. You know, because a lot of times people don't understand how to connect these dots. Well, what difference does it make? What does the senator do? Even in educating people about why they're important, because sometimes when we were talking and some of the things they were asking, well, that is not even the governor's role. That is not the governor's responsibility. And so you need to get excited about, okay, here's what they do for you, and here's how we take care of things locally. And so I think the more we educate people about government and why all of these you know, elected officials are important, maybe they can get excited. That's what I'm hoping.
So but what do you think about the Republican ticket for governor?
I try not to think about that too much, but I do have to think about what do we do to win. So you're talking about James and
Johnson,
James and Johnson.
Mike Cox.
Yeah.
Doesn't excite you?
No.
Would you think?
But here's the other thing, and it's not just the Republican ticket that doesn't excite me. It's obvious the Democratic ticket doesn't excite me either. So I feel that way on both sides.
Well, do you think Mr. Johnson's trying to buy this nomination?
Well, a lot of people try to buy nominations, so that wouldn't be a surprise. They do.
Well, how about on that note, we just wrap here. We put a ribbon on it, and I'll go fix my phone. All right? Madam Mayor, thanks for being with us on Off the Record.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Delight to see you again.
Same here.